Good morning and welcome to the Chamber Business Report. I'm John Phillips, president of the Palm Coast Flagler Regional Chamber of Commerce, and we are glad to have Amelia Fulmer with the Fitzgerald Performing Arts Center as our guest today. We look forward to visiting with her and learning more about the Flagler Auditorium. The Chamber Business Report is sponsored by Klein Construction, building the future of Flagler County for the past 30 years. Also sponsored by Smart Technologies, they make business easy. And Intracoastal Bank of Palm Coast, community banking, the way it should be. Member FDIC. And Katz & Green, Flagler County's personal injury attorneys since 1996. Again, welcome to the Chamber Business Report. And Amelia, welcome. Glad to have you with us today.
Glad to be here.
Yeah, I look forward to learning more about the Flagler Auditorium and the proper name, the Fitzgerald Performing Arts Center. And Kelsey, my co-host, is with us as well. Kelsey, good morning.
Hi, good morning.
And try to get my camera all synced back up. Looks like I got the blue light back on, so we are good to go again. So, Amelia, let's talk a little bit about you personally before we get into the to the Flagler Auditorium. You're a career educator and right here in Flagler County. So the transition wasn't a long commute moving over from the high school, but let's talk about your background a little bit.
Yeah, in fact, my car has not left the parking lot in over 20 years. I came to Flagler County in 1988 to teach music. That's what my whole life is really centered around, is performing and teaching and the power of music in children's lives. So I taught elementary school music for 15 years at Wadsworth Elementary. So I spent a lot of days being a rock star there because I had kindergartners and they believe you're a rock star, you know. And then I moved to the high school and I taught teenagers to sing for 17 years, went to a lot of competitions, made a lot of costumes, learned to sew when I didn't even know how to sew, you know, all the many hats that teachers wear. And then moved to the auditorium. I went back to school for arts management and moved to the auditorium in 2019, and I've been there for 5 years now. So it's been a wonderful 37 years with Flagler Schools.
Yeah, you must have started at about the age of 6, maybe.
Oh, absolutely. What a wonderful thing to say.
Let me talk about the question that when you were talking about the educational side, did you have any of those kids that were in kindergarten with you later on come as high school students of yours?
Yes, my first year at the high school, I got to reap what I sowed when they were in elementary school. I brought probably one of the biggest performances to the auditorium when it opened. It opened in 1991, and I had started teaching in 1988. And Nell Brown, the media center specialist, and I, we all worked together as partners. Miss her very much. But she had this vision that we would have this musical with 250 children in it, and we would bus them all over to the auditorium when they opened. We packed the auditorium and put 250 kids on stage. And we did 4 or 5 musicals. So that's how I started. So I have to say the auditorium has been part of my adult life, you know, for the entire time.
Yeah. Let's talk a little bit about the auditorium for those folks that don't know. They see the physical structure attached to Flagler Palm Coast High School and might just assume it's part of the high school, which it is.
Absolutely.
But it also has a much bigger role as well. So talk about that just a little bit for us.
And that's what makes it highly unique and unusual, is that it is a high school auditorium, but it's also a performing arts center. And it was built with a performing arts center mindset. There was a bond issue that was passed. The school district needed the children didn't have a place for chorus or band or anywhere to perform. A lot of young families were moving in with ITT. Mm-hmm. And a lot of those people loved the golf courses and the tennis courts, but they also wanted an entertainment venue. So they passed a bond issue in 1988. It was on the ballot, and it was just to build a performing arts center that would serve the schools and the community. At that time, they put together the Flagler Auditorium Governing Board, and a board does all the calendaring and deciding who performs and all of those things. And all that was put in place so community members work side by side and in partnership with the school district to make sure that it is used the most it can be used, and we are definitely used a lot, and used to entertain our senior citizens, but also to train our students. We train students to work in the technical theater and of course, the performers, students learning to be performers. We have some wonderful success stories of students that are succeeding all over the world because of the opportunities they were given at Fitzgerald Performing Arts Center.
Let's unpack that a little bit further with the high school students and what experience they can get as part of, if you're a student at Flagler Palm Coast High School, and whether you're in the theater class, drama class, part of the music program, some of the real hands-on experience they can get as part of your auditorium and what they can do to help them later in life if they want to go into a career in the performing arts.
Okay, we'll start with the performance side. So we have drama. So we have plays that you can try out to be in. You take the drama classes, and you can also just do it after school as an activity. We have dance classes. We have band. We have a wonderful marching band. 150 kids in that marching band, and they get superior ratings every year. We have a wonderful chorus program with the formality singers. So there's a lot you can do as a performer. And we see those folks a lot because they're on the stage and they have the light on them. But I love to talk about those students that are technical theater students. The technical theater students a lot of times come in to get an elective, and they don't really know what they're in there for. They come into the auditorium, they're wearing their hoodie, and they're kind of hanging. They're a different kid. But they come and they sign up for volunteer for the call sheet, and then they come and they sit in the dark and learn how to operate all the machinery and all of the counterweight system. And, there's a lot of things you have to be super safe about and super responsible if you're going to be backstage. But I love those kids because they're the kids that are willing to sit in the dark and put others in the light.
That's a great way to describe it.
Fantastic kids. And those kids learn, and they end up staying all 4 years, and they become part of the show. Many of them go to work outside in Orlando, in the theme parks. Just 2 weeks ago, we met with Norwegian Cruise Lines. I met with we had a Zoom call with the technical director of all 32 cruise ships for NCL, and telling those kids, look, with your experiences here, as long as you can answer all the questions we have to ask you about sound engineering and spotlights, you can come right on the ship and work as a technician right away, right out of high school.
That's amazing.
That's awesome.
And we have students that they do the fireworks at Epcot, SeaWorld. We have students that own their own production companies building sets. So it's incredible. That's a success story that doesn't always get told, because it's great to see. We have David Sotomayor, who grew up with us, who's now the musical director of Tootsie, and he travels with a Broadway touring show all over the world as a musical director. And we see those people a lot of times, but we forget that there's a whole lot of kids coming right out of here if they can just find their way to a venue. I would say our biggest challenge is that our venue is here in Palm Coast, and there's not another performing arts center you can go work for. And we're not interested in hiring adults as much as we are training students. But we're trying to find ways to connect the dots for them, like having those conversations with Norwegian and working to find places.
And other placements, like you say, in the theme parks in the Orlando area, there are numerous jobs and opportunities for kids. It might not be the exact same transition from performing arts to the theme parks, but in the performance genre, there are wonderful opportunities for them, and they really get, like you said, hands-on opportunities, especially those folks who are behind the scenes. And sometimes they don't get as much credit because you don't realize they're there, whether they're doing the stage or maybe the sound, and you all have a wonderful sound system there, but someone has to operate that, and the kids get a chance to do that as well.
Right, and the young man that we have working for us as the assistant director right now, he actually was certified on our D-Live machine when he was in the 10th grade. And he left and went to work for another company in Gainesville, loading in shows all over the state. He traveled a lot, and then he's back with us working as our audio engineer. So it's amazing what they can do. He actually mixed the sound for Marilyn McCoo and Billy Davis when they were at our show. So they get a taste. And I'll have to say, the artists that come in, the professionals that come in, they love working with the students. And they remember when they were younger, and it's just a really nice relationship. And so I just wanted to make sure I pointed those kids out, because they are the ones that really run the theater.
Amelia, I can feel your passion when you talk about what these kids and what you do, and it's nice to hear that not only do you have this passion that you bring to the kids, but you're putting them in the spotlight and then giving them opportunities to grow not only in the community, but having these Norwegian Cruise Line opportunities or things like that. So that's really awesome.
Oh, thanks.
We're visiting with Amelia Fulmer. She's the director of the Fitzgerald Performing Arts Center, oftentimes referred to as the Flagler Auditorium, right here in Palm Coast on State Route 100, attached to the Flagler Palm Coast High School. And Amelia, your background, Florida State University graduate, and then as you said, you did you study elementary education or performing arts? What was your degree in?
I was music K through 12.
Okay.
So in Florida, you can get a music degree and you can be certified to teach kindergarten through 12th grade. It's quite a stretch.
And you started at the kindergartners at Wadsworth and worked your way up to the IB program at Flagler Palm Coast. And oftentimes people hear about the International Baccalaureate program or the IB program, which is at FBC High School, which is a outstanding program. All three of my kids did the IB program, but down at Spruce Creek High School in Volusia County. But just talk a little bit more about how that educational opportunity for them in the performing arts and in the music area specifically, because that was your area of expertise, how that is stacked on top of the wonderful education that they get through our Flagler County schools.
Well, music and arts are, I've always said, and I've used this acronym before, is it gives you grit. You know, you've got to have the guts to get up there. You've got to have the resilience because you're not always going to win your competition or win what you do. And then you have to take initiative. You have to always join and raise your hand and say, hey, I want that solo. Mm-hmm. And then you have to have tenacity. You have to keep going all the time. And so, you know, great business leaders know the same acronym.
Absolutely.
And that's what I like to, so my quick way of saying to everyone that music and art, just like sports and a lot of other things that students do extra, give you so many life skills and that guts, resilience, initiative, and tenacity. The same thing you need if you're going to be an entrepreneur, if you're going to start a business or anything of that nature.
You used the word entrepreneur there, and it's a great segue for us to take a very short break. When we come back, there's an entrepreneurial conference coming up being held at the Flagler Auditorium. We're going to talk about that right after this short timeout. We'll be right back here on the Chamber Business Report.
Well, my wife and I were going to get a bag of dog food, and as I got to about the middle of the intersection, we got T-boned.
It hit us so hard.
The insurance company was pretty tough to deal with, and so we called Jeff.
I want to thank Jeff personally for how he handled my case.
Thank you. Personal approach, professional results. Cats and Green, offices Palm Coast. Results may vary.
So thank you, Cats and Green, and particularly Jeff.
In a world where personal service and people who really care about you can be lost, we want you to know we are different. We love engaging with our clients. That's just how we've been since 2008. Your milestones in life and business are our milestones, and we are with you every step of the way. We can do everything that big banks do, but we add the community banking touch. If you're already one of our clients, thank you. And if not, we would love to be your locally owned community bank. I'm Laura Gilveri. Welcome to Intracoastal Bank, member FDIC.
Back in the old days, thieves would break into your business through a door or window. Today, hackers break into your business and home in ways you never thought of. Your printer, security cameras, scanners, thermostats, remote workers, and their devices. We're Smart Technologies. We know how to identify and secure your entire network, not just your computers. If you would like a free cybersecurity assessment, give us a call today.
Smart Technologies.
Call us, 252-2292.
Welcome back to the Chamber Business Report. I'm John Phillips. I'm joined by Amelia Fulmer, the director of the Flagler Performing Arts Center, and Kelsey Lombard, our co-host, is with us as well. And again, the Chamber Business Report brought to you by Klein Construction, Smart Technologies, Intracoastal Bank of Palm Coast, and Cats and Green. Amelia, we're talking about an upcoming event that the Chamber is certainly playing a big role in, and we also want to talk about your performance schedule coming up later this year as well. But let's start with the Business and Entrepreneur Conference coming up on June 20th. I'll give a little bit of some information about it, and then again, appreciate your support to being able to use your venue. It's going to be an outstanding opportunity for us. We have 3 great speakers coming in as part of the Business and Entrepreneur Conference. We're going to kick it off with with someone who is a wonderful speaker. And a lot of folks will be like, why do you bring in a basketball coach into a business conference? But if you've never seen Steve Ritter speak, I can guarantee you are in for a treat. He's not going to talk about basketball very much on June 20th. What he's going to talk about is leadership and culture building, which is something that he's used to build an outstanding basketball program at Embry-Riddle. It's not all about the type of zone defense or man-to-man defense that you're playing. It's about culture and leadership and building a wonderful team. He'll kick us off, and then we've got Remy Chukwunyeri coming all the way from Nigeria. He is a personal friend of Dr. Alvin Jackson, the city manager of Benel, and he is an entrepreneur and a leader and has some wonderful experience, mostly over in Nigeria, but he's going to share that with us because business translates no matter what continent you might happen to be on. And then our final speaker is someone who is very well known here in Flagler County, maybe one of the most well-known people in Flagler County, and it's our sheriff, Sheriff Rick Staley. And if you only know Sheriff Staley as the sheriff, that's good, because you're going to learn a lot more about him on Friday, June 20th at the Fitzgerald Performing Arts Center. Before he became sheriff of Flagler County, Sheriff Staley started his own business, grew it to several, I want to say $3.5 million annual business with about 128 employees before he sold that and got back into the community service side of law enforcement. But Amelia, I don't know if you knew that story and that side of Sheriff Staley's life. I did not. I look forward to learning more about it on Friday, June 20th.
No, I didn't.
Yeah,
he's a wonderful guy, though.
Yeah, wonderful guy, and the face of Flagler Sheriff, face of law enforcement in Flagler County, but also a very successful entrepreneur. He and his wife had a security business that they built from the ground up. So, Kelsey, I know you and I have been working behind the scenes on this event, but I want to give you a chance to talk about the Business and Entrepreneur Conference just a little bit as well.
Yeah, I know. I'm excited to learn more about the sheriff there, and we have some really great speakers. So I'm excited. Go to pcfchamber.com and get your tickets now. We're a little less than a week away, and I hope to see you there. And I thank you, Amelia, for everything you've done to help us with the location, and I hope we can fill the room.
Again, that date is Friday, June 20th. We start at 8:30. Registration opens at 7:30. At 8 o'clock, we'll have a professional networking opportunity to meet some of the other folks that are there. Then at 8:30, Coach Steve Ritter will kick things off. We'll wrap up by 11, and then you've got the rest of the day to either go back to the office and get caught up, or if you have the opportunity to head down to Flagler Beach and start your weekend early. So the wonderful opportunity either way. Let's talk about other things that go on at the auditorium. I know your show season kind of runs from the mid-fall, September, October, through about April. But you said something earlier before we went on the air. You're the busiest theater in all of the
Southeastern United States, because most venues sit dark during the day. We have 300 students that come in and out of there. And even right now, there are about 40 students at the auditorium when I left on the stage tap dancing, something that they're doing. So
there's always
they're doing
something
a show
going on.
called The Lightning Thief, the 27th. We have a summer camp there. The Flagler Performing Arts Academy is there working on their summer camp shows. We have June is dance month, so every weekend we have dance shows. Last weekend we had Mia Bella. This weekend we have Flagler School of Dance. But we are so excited because a lot of times we can't have the business community come in because we have school every day.
Sure.
So I hope we can do something fun like this every summer.
It's a really good
the
crossover.
chamber there is fantastic, and it's a good partnership that I'm really proud that we can get together and do more in the auditorium.
Yeah, we look forward to doing more with you. Like I said, the kids are in there a certain number of days out of the year. Hopefully there's some business opportunities in the auditorium like we're doing. Absolutely. And then obviously you've got your show season, and you can already talk about, I know a lot of the promotional materials aren't going out just yet because we're very early on. But let's talk about some of the great acts that you've got coming up later this year and into next year.
Well, we're bringing a show called Blank Space, the Taylor Swift tribute. It is the #1 Taylor Swift tribute in the nation. It's not just a girl that sings like Taylor Swift. She comes with an entirely produced show. They will bring a semi in and bring the show in. They even bring their own lights. They bring 6 dancers, full live band. So we're really excited about that. Those tickets go on sale July 4th. We're going to do some VIP packages where you can meet and greet and get your picture made with the quote Taylor Swift.
Mm-hmm.
So we're excited about that because we don't do a lot of things for tweens and kids. So we're trying to get the word out. So if you know any young influencers, tell them to give me a call.
Oh, yeah, that seems like it's going to be really popular. We have a lot of Taylor Swift fans.
And this is the one that on TMZ, the girl that works on TMZ took her 6-year-old and just told her it was Taylor Swift. So that's why when I talk about being featured on there. But we also have One Night of Queen, which is also a huge production. It is not just a guy that sings like Freddie Mercury. We're talking an entire produced show with background singers, full band, everything, an amazing performance. We have the Nelson twins are coming this year. And if you don't know the Nelson twins, they're the children of Ricky Nelson. And they do an entire show called An Ozzie and Harriet Christmas where they reminisce and show you home movies and they sing along with their dad. So that's going to be a nice show that's coming up. We have about 21 shows in the season, so I won't name them all. But we do have Debbie Boone coming, You Light Up My Life. That's the theme of our season.
Mm-hmm.
You light up our life with live entertainment.
You said 21 shows?
21 professional
shows, yeah.
And we have over 100 events a year.
And that goes roughly, the professional season is about October to
April,
early spring,
end of April.
into
Yeah.
April. Okay.
The most of our shows come November, December, and January and February because that's when all the talent wants to come to Florida because it's not snowing here. And it's when our snowbirds come to Florida, and it's when people are looking to find something to do because it gets dark early and there's not as much to do. We are excited about, we just met yesterday and signed a bubble show. It's called the Spheres Bubble Show, which is like a gazillion bubbles in the auditorium, and that's going to be for Arts Education Week on September the 13th. So we'll be doing a lot of things for Arts Education Week, and we actually make our tickets go on sale that same week just to remind our patrons of where your money goes. We do not rent our venue. We book our own show, book the shows, and the money stays right here in Flagler County. Right now in the environment, the live performance environment, most people rent their venues to a promoter, and a promoter brings them in. They do the show, and yes, some of the money stays in the county, but a lot of it goes out. And so we're real proud that we only use local restaurants and local hotels. We spent $30,000 in hotel rooms in one season because we pay for all the hotel rooms for the performers as part of their contract. And we're lucky that we have restaurants locally that work with us to bring food to all of our performers. So we feel like we're a big part of the community and a big part of the business community as well.
I think that's really critical, especially for us in the Chamber of Commerce, to keep as much of the money local as possible. That's one of our goals, and I'm really glad to hear that you all feel the same way as well. Again,
Absolutely.
Book local, stay local, eat local, and we all support one another. And obviously, that's a great resource to have in our community. There's really nothing else like the Flagler Auditorium here real close by. I'm not sure who your competition would be, but I know they're not real close by.
Well, we do have Peabody, and we have Ormond Beach Performing Arts Center. A lot of those venues rent some of the same shows that we book. But usually we all work together and call each other and chat about what are you bringing and try not to get in each other's way too much.
Yeah.
It's you respect each other in the business, because if you don't, then you're not going to succeed.
Yeah, I think that's really critical in the business world to try to complement one another as opposed to compete against one another. Some folks are going to choose the closer venue if they have the same show, and they can choose from either at the Peabody or at the Flagler Auditorium, depending on where you live. But at the same time, if you work together with the Peabody and the Ormond Performing Arts or any other venue.
And we have some exciting times right now because we've just gotten together. The FC3, the Flagler Cultural Council, is becoming more active and working with the city to get grants for the arts. They're actually going to be working in partnership with us to do the Bubble Show and Arts and Education Week. So that's exciting that we have an organization now that's kind of working for all of us. But it's important that we, at the auditorium, work with other groups like Flagler Playhouse and City Repertory Theater and all of the other arts groups in town that may need some support. But if we all share the stage, as I like to say,
quite literally,
I think we all win. And that's the same thing. We share our stage with businesses that sponsor shows. We share our stage with other students, other groups that come in. So it's a neat place. There's a lot. We're very unique in that we have high school students working as stagehands. There's only 2 high schools in the state of Florida that do that. Mm-hmm. They don't have certifications for it for the school district because they don't have that in most high schools. But we just go out and find jobs for them.
Yeah.
Creating opportunity. I love it.
Exactly.
If somebody wanted to check out the show schedule, is it posted on your website?
It's not up yet, but
Okay.
I want you to go to our website, though, Fitzgerald Performing Arts Center, and keep your eye on it because we're going to start by probably the end of next week. You're going to see some shows.
All right.
showing
So
up on there.
coming soon, the performance schedule at the Fitzgerald website, and also tickets you mentioned for the for Taylor Swift, July 4th.
July 4th. They're
So that's
going on
not too
sale.
far away.
No, it's
that's
not.
Just a couple weeks.
We've got a ticker going on that one. If you go there to buy tickets, you'll see a countdown ticker of when you can buy tickets because we only are going to sell 50 VIP tickets. That's first 10 rows and meet Taylor Swift tribute.
I gotta get ready then and get. My daughter is definitely going to want to be there.
You better get.
We're going to have a good. See, I've already got bracelets we're handing out.
Oh,
We're
nice.
ready. We're getting ready to go.
Well, we will look forward to learning more about it, seeing the show schedule when it's released, and again, July 4th, the Taylor Swift tickets will go on sale for the Taylor Swift tribute at the Flagler Auditorium. So thanks to Amelia Fulmer with the Fitzgerald Performing Arts Center, also known as Flagler Auditorium. Again, this is the Chamber Business Report. I'm John Phillips for Kelsey Lombard. Enjoy the rest of your Saturday.
Thank you.